women will eventually find out if you are still beta, guys. Okay? She will eventually find out. You cannot hide this from her. Okay, by the way, we're out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm walking along the strip here. As you can see, we got Venetian behind me, my hotel, and we got the Mirage over here, passing these beautiful waterfalls on this gorgeous sunny day. And we are cracking in today's very important topic, which is the fact that women will eventually find out whether or not you are still beta, whether or not you are still hanging on and clinging on to those old blue pill beliefs and blue pill values that you downloaded into your brain from the Disney Channel, from CNN, and the mainstream media, right? Guys, you cannot hide this from her if you are still beta. Eventually, little things you do are going to start seeping out, okay? And they're not going to be obvious things. They're going to be very, very subtle things, little dead giveaways that tell her that this guy is a chump and he's not the alpha that he was projecting himself to be. She will eventually discover with little things you do and little things you say that you are not alpha but are still beta. Just little things, right? Little hints. You might get a little bit jealous about the way she dresses. She might wear like a little bit of a skimpy outfit, maybe a little crop top that shows her cleavage a bit. And you'll be like, hey, why do you have to wear that, right? Even something as minor as that will be enough to tell her, like, wait a minute, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he mate guarding if he's so badass? If he gets all these beautiful women, why is he so worried? Right? Because those are the actions of somebody who is in one-itis, right? And the guys who are in one-itis are generally guys who are still beta. Guys who have not achieved their abundance as a man. Guys who are still living in scarcity. This is why me, as a pickup artist, I'm able to peel a lot of these girls off of these kind of like lower tier, lower value guys. They can't hang on to their women because she senses the fact that he kind of scammed her when he met her. Like, he might have presented a good front. He might have came at her very charismatic, right? Where she was like, whoa, this guy's pretty hot, right? And then slowly, as she began dating him, as she got to know him, that's when the truth came out. And she was like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. I am sensing an incongruence from this guy. Remember that word incongruence that we talked about? It's one of the most important behavioral traits that you have to have in game, in cold approach, when doing pickup. When you don't have congruence, that's when the girl kind of gets a little creeped out because she's like, wait, I feel like I just got the bait and switch. Like the guy sold her on a bill of goods, right? He sold her on a lemon. He sold her on a dream. That is not actually who he is. And a lot of times we call these guys players, right? We call these guys players, even naturals, right? But guys who are players, guys who are naturals, just naturally good with women, or just very charismatic, these guys are able to cold approach beautiful women just as a professional pickup artist would, right? And I know this because I used to be a natural. I still am a natural, but my game didn't really go to a consistent level where I was able to consistently close girls until I really honed my skills. Because they don't have proper training, and just because they have like this very charismatic aura about them, they're able to get a lot of hot girls, right? You'll see a lot of naturals, a lot of players, like 1 month they might be dating a drop dead like 9 or 10, right? Like some hot woman. You're like, whoa, this guy's dating a hot, gorgeous girl. And then like a month later or 2 months later, you see them dating like a very average looking girl, like a 5 or a 6. And you're like, whoa, right? Then a few months go by, back to another 9 or 10, right? It's like they bounce around. They can't maintain that consistency in their game because they're still lacking a lot of those alpha traits that you can only get through, like really through game and life, you know, just journeying through life and maturity and through pickup, right? Obviously, I've learned pretty much everything I know about self-development through cold approach. Crazy enough, right? Through human interaction, through socializing, not just with hot women, but with other guys, amogs, haters, right? It's what allows you to develop and grow. So a guy who is like a player, for example, or a natural, will tend to still have a lot of beta traits. Make no mistake about it, right? He will still tend to be very blue pill. These guys will tend to fall into that low value mindset very often. That, what I'm talking about, that lower tier mindset where they start mate guarding, they get paranoid if their girl starts like checking out other guys, or if she starts, like say she spends more time, or she goes out with her girlfriends one Friday night instead of him, he'll like totally freak out about that. He'll start demonstrating very like low value behavioral traits about him that will tell the girl like, hey, this guy is completely full of shit. He is not alpha, he is beta. He is beta to the core. And you know, sadly, this is the case for most relationships, right? This is how most relationships end up going down, right? You know, the girl meets a guy, she's like totally enamored by him, she's totally just like taken by him, and then as she gets to know him, she slowly starts to lose attraction for him, right? And this is something that used to happen to me back in the 90s when I first started gaming, and I was using just like all natural skill, like all my player skills, right? I was able to get the girl, but I couldn't hang on. You know, many times I couldn't hang on beyond like, you know, a couple of dates. And it wasn't, again, until I started working on my skills and my craft that I started to fix those issues, right? So a lot of players and a lot of naturals will still, you know, as bomb-ass as they might look in field, a lot of these guys will still cry over a woman. They will still like get butthurt over a woman. They will still get, like I said, jealous over, you know, a female. They won't be living in their reality. They'll be living in her reality. They'll be doing a lot of these very, very beta behavioral patterns, like kind of repeating these beta behavioral patterns to the point where it becomes super obvious to the girl after a while, like, wait, I'm not even attracted to this guy anymore. He is nothing like what I met. And he is just a complete chump, right? And she won't want to push forward with that. When she dates a guy who's alpha, because the guy is alpha and because he has achieved abundance as a man, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, he's a mature, grown-ass man, as I talk about in many of my programs. Because he's achieved that, it's easier for him, almost effortless for him to maintain the consistency in the type of behaviors that originally attracted her to him. Okay, he's able to maintain that without even thinking about it, right? Because a lot of this like pickup, dating advice, red pill knowledge, a lot of these things you should never do as a technique. That's the biggest mistake that a lot of these like red pill gurus and dating coaches who don't go out, who don't have receipts, like I do, check my Instagram at MattCrossOfficial. A lot of these guys don't mention that because they themselves don't go out, so they don't really practice what they preach, they don't live what they teach. This is why you're always better off learning from an active, real-life pickup artist. Once you have achieved your abundance as a man, and you have truly become, quote-unquote, an alpha male, right? Whoever you date, no matter, it won't matter how much you like her, how much you don't like her. If you're dating her or she's just somebody you know in your social circle, it won't matter, right? Or if she's an LTR or your wife, none of it will matter because she will never see cracks in your game. She will never see holes in your ship. You will never have these like moments where you subtly give yourself away and she's like, wait, this guy is not the alpha he presented himself to be. She'll never, that will never ever enter her mind because she'll be like, hey, this guy's never once, you know, demonstrated that he's like beta, right? I mean, of course, you're not perfect, you're not God. There are going to be times where you just subconsciously slip up. You might revert back to an old habit, right? But the thing with being alpha is you will be able to identify that very quickly and then turn it around, fix it. You won't allow that mistake to repeat. As with most guys who have not achieved their abundance and are still living in scarcity, Those are the type of guys that will not be able to recognize or identify what they are doing wrong, and they will continue to repeat the same mistakes over and over to the point where the girl just gets fed up with it and she's like, I'm tired of dealing with this simp, this wuss, and I'm done. And that's eventually how it goes down, like I said, in most relationships. What happens in like 99.9% relationships, no matter how the girl dumps you, she leaves you for somebody else, doesn't matter. It always reverts back to the fact that she discovered the truth about you. She eventually found out that you are not the alpha that you presented yourself to be, that you're like really just beta. Right? You cannot hide these things, guys. The girl will discover them until you fix them. Okay? Until you fix them. This is why I tell you guys, having the mental maturity to accept responsibility, blame yourself first, take accountability for your actions, and fix them until you're able to sit there and actually admit that you're sucking at life, that, hey, maybe I'm not so good at this, maybe I can improve at this, or maybe I do this a little too often, I kind of compromise with the girl a little too much, or maybe I just kind of give in to her a little too much. When you realize you're doing that, until you realize you're doing that and you can accept it, only then will you fix it, right? But I see a lot of guys out there like, nope, it's her, she's just a bitch. On to the next one. The next one's not going to be a bitch. Meanwhile, if you look at their past like 10 relationships, it's all followed the same pattern of destruction, where the girl liked him at first, she treated him with respect, and then he lost that, right? When you get a girl who has like high interest in you, high attraction for you, you're basically starting the semester with an A, right? You start the semester with an A. It's really up to you to keep that A. And if you can't keep it, then there's a problem with your game, right? And ideally, I mean, the best situations are where the girl really doesn't have a lot of hope in you. Like you start out with like a C, and then you're able to raise it to an A. Because when you're able to do that, where the girl was like, this guy's beta, I bet he's just a nobody or nothing. And then you show her otherwise, like, wow, this guy was more alpha than I ever thought. And then all of a sudden your status, your social status rises in her eyes. Ideally, that's what you want, because those type of girls never ever leave, right? They stick around forever. So that is the point of today's coaching videos. Guys, you cannot hide the fact, if you are still beta with these girls that you are dating, cold approaching, meeting, you cannot hide it, okay? You have to fix these things at the core. And the only way you can fix them is really taking a hard look at yourself, your game, who you are, if you've achieved your abundance as a man, if you're coping versus thriving in life, or if you're failing, right? Until you can identify where you are in life and what you need to fix, you're gonna constantly have this problem with females losing attraction for you, right? It's gonna constantly happen. I mean, I've seen very, very good players come out on boot camp with me. They're talking about themselves and building themselves up like, yep, I'm the bomb, I'm gonna be the best POA on this boot camp. And then they get out there, they cold approach these girls, and yes, they can get their attraction very, very quickly. Get them attracted to them. But I noticed very quickly, within 30 seconds to usually a minute, right? 30 seconds to a minute, the girl starts to see something about the guy. Like maybe a flinching in his eyes, maybe a drop in his body language, maybe a supplication in his voice tonality that completely give the guy away. And then the girl's like, oh, whoa, don't touch me. I've seen it, guys. I've seen these girls go from hot to cold like that, in a millisecond, because the guy gives himself away. There's a tiny, tiny crack that most people without a trained eye cannot see. I mean, I can see it obviously because I teach this stuff. Most females can, generally see it as well. Problem is the student can't see it, okay? The student can't see it. And because he can't see it, he can't fix it. So in order to fix these things, you need to have two things, right? One is self-awareness. But in order to have self-awareness, you have to have the second component, which is mental maturity. And if you don't have mental maturity, you're never going to have self-awareness, because you're always going to blame shift and, blame your problems on everyone else but yourself. You're always going to blame the externals and not the internal. Until you acquire mental maturity, will you be able to acquire the ability to become self-aware and see what you're doing wrong so that you can fix it. Okay? And with that said, I'm going to wrap up here. Until next time, this is M from the 33 Secrets, signing out from the fountains at the Mirage here on Las Vegas Boulevard. I'll do a little 360. don't forget to smash that like button below. Okay, please smash it as I sit out here in the 100-degree weather for you, shooting these high-value coaching videos for you, teaching you, educating you. Please smash that like button. Also, guys, make sure you hit that notification bell right next to it so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on my YouTube channel. More importantly, guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel, okay? Please make sure you subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a ton. It tells YouTube that you are loving my videos, you're digging it. You want me to come out here to Vegas even more and shoot more coaching videos for you that can help you, educate you, and take you to the next level in life. Take you into a whole new dimension that the mainstream parents-teacher society never, ever taught you about, never even told you about, because they themselves weren't aware of it, right? So